Now, when U.S. President Donald Trump came to power in January, the European Union was anxious. Trump had vowed to pull back American support. 7 months later, the U.S. president has announced his novel plan. Now, Trump has announced his mega weapons deal for Ukraine during a meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in the White House. He wants to sell U.S. weapons to the European nations that will then transfer them to Kyiv. The U.S. president has vowed to provide 17 Patriot batteries and missiles to Ukraine to fight against Russian offensive. His message is clear. He wants to settle the Russia-Ukraine war at any cost.
We have one country that has 17 Patriots getting ready to be shipped. They're not going to need them for them. So we're going to work a deal where the 17 will go, or a big portion of the 17 will go to the war side.
Rutte said that Europeans will buy weapons from the U.S. to equip Ukraine. He asserted that the armaments and equipment should cause Russian President Vladimir Putin to reconsider peace negotiations.
Of course, the U.S. will put on its stockpiles necessary to defend this country. That's absolutely clear. But it will mean that Ukraine can get its hands on really massive numbers of military equipment, both for air defense, but also missiles, ammunition, etc., etc.
The U.S. president also laid out a new deadline for Russia. He has threatened to impose severe secondary tariffs on Russia if no peace deal is reached within Ukraine in 50 days.
One of the reasons that you're here today is to hear that we are very unhappy, I am, with Russia. But we'll discuss that maybe a different day. But we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means.
Now, the White House has clarified that when Trump referred to secondary tariff, he meant 100% tariffs on Russia and secondary sanctions on other countries that buy Russian oil, such as secondary sanctions are widely seen as likely to have far more severe impacts on Russia's economy than measures that have been imposed previously, which have allowed Russia to continue selling oil to buyers such as China and India. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Terani sent us this report.
President Trump has reversed course on Ukraine, announcing a major arms deal to supply Patriot missile systems and advanced air defense weapons via NATO, funded by European allies. At Monday's meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, Trump issued a 50-day ultimatum to Russia: negotiate peace or face tariffs of up to 100% on Russian trade. Rutte endorsed this move, emphasizing NATO's unity, while Germany's leadership confirmed plans to purchase U.S. Patriots to help Ukraine repel Russian attacks. This marks a sharp pivot from Trump's earlier Russia-friendly stance, as he directly criticized Vladimir Putin and called for an end to the bloodshed. Meanwhile, a bipartisan Senate sanctions bill is advancing rapidly, proposing primary and secondary sanctions and tariffs as high as 500% on Russian exports and countries buying Russian energy. Ukraine welcomed the aid. Moscow has dismissed the threats as being hot air, but China and EU partners are watching closely as the U.S. and its allies escalate both military and economic pressure. Susan Terani reporting from New York for WION World is One.